hot sauce. Bill Pump. Give me the hot sauce. Derrick Rose can go upstairs. Let me step back and kiss myself.
Oh my
MVP time. Windy City Assassin does it again. Give me the hot sauce. Give me the hot sauce, Pump.
It is time to throw the ball up in the air and run the court. The NBA season is upon us, and Stacey and Stinger are going to be back on the road calling action. Of course, Stacey calling the Bulls games and John directing the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending world champion Milwaukee Bucks. The brand new announcing team, Lisa Byington. They got a new radio team as well, I heard. So they make some changes on the broadcast crew.
Changes, man. Yeah, we're going to run it back, though.
Oh, there you go.
Did you get knocked out opening night, the ring ceremony with the Bucks playing the Brooklyn Nets at Fiserv Forum, the TNT big footage, huh?
Yeah, they're like,
it's over.
Thanks, we'll take.
You will lose that game.
Yeah, well, most teams do.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. We lost. It's just too much emotion.
Yeah.
Too much, energy focused towards that ring and the excitement. You forget that you have to play. Where the other team is over there licking their chops like, we can't wait to get to you. You're going to win a ring. You're going to make us sit here and wait and watch the banner go up. And
Kevin Durant's going to have
40.
He's going to have the right size shoes on.
Yes. Yeah, they're going to be, because we played the Atlanta Hawks one year, and we were getting our ring ceremony. And when it was over, like nobody really wanted to play. Like the energy level.
Yeah, we're done now. Goodbye.
Yeah, can we play tomorrow? Nobody wanted to play today. And they jumped out on us, man, and opened a can of whoop ass. And I'm like, good God, is this the same Atlanta team that we beat like 4 times last year? They just, something about those teams that have to sit back and wait. They're like rabid dogs. They can't wait to spoil all the fun and all the excitement. So I expect them to do the same thing. But I also expect Brooklyn to come out and send a message to Milwaukee.
Right.
We don't care what you did last year. It's a new year. We're a new team, and we are going to represent the East this year. So I think they're going to go out and try to send a message.
We're going to get into all our predictions in a little bit. But first of all, if you're watching on YouTube, and you really should, I mean, we appreciate everybody listening on the various podcast platforms. But if you get a chance, dial us up on YouTube. You can see the Larry the Lobster.
Wow.
He's back. After traveling to Florida and Denver, he's back. We're glad to have you back, Tim.
Yeah, sunburn and windburn, but I'm back.
He's not as red, though. I mean, he is red, but he's not as red as he normally is.
We adjusted the lighting in here.
So you might be really red, and the lighting is really giving you a compliment. That's complimenting the skin.
Yeah, we went a little blue. A little sky blue.
Okay, no wonder, because he looks red from where I'm sitting, but he doesn't look as red as he normally is.
We're making his teeth look whiter.
Yeah. Man, look at him.
Hey, Whisper, speaking of contrast, didn't you notice a contrast earlier when we were sitting down looking at the King?
Okay, here we go, America.
The regular season. The exhibition games are over now.
I think Stacey looks very handsome.
America, listen, I discovered a new barber. I moved down to the city, and I had to relocate my barber because my old barber, who I've had for a long time, who's still my barber if I happen to be in this area, which probably never. So I'm like 40 something miles away. It's too far to get a haircut. So I had to go find a barber in the city, and I was pointed in the direction of Razor Red over on Taylor Street.
Shout out.
Shout out to Razor Red. It was his off day. He wasn't even working. Wow. And he said, for you, King, the voice of the Bulls, I'm going to make an exception. I'm going to come and work. Whenever you need me, call me. So I said, Red, I need to be cut right now because I'm looking like Bill Russell. My hair was all just everywhere. My beard was all kind of matted up and nappy because I've been moving, America, it's been a week. I've been moving from one location to another. And if you know anything about moving, it's one of the worst things ever. It sucks. And I just today, I found my iPad. I was looking for my iPad today. And I finally found it in a box down in the basement that was not supposed to be in the basement.
With your football cards?
With the tub and all the, I started my own tub, but it's not America. It's not baseball and football cards. It's Hooters memorabilia. Hooters cards and Twin Peaks and all the little restaurants.
And uniforms.
Uniforms. And we got it all down there. We got it.
Hey, I don't want to bring up any bad memories, but I remember the last time that you had to move. Remember they came and they boxed everything up. You couldn't find anything.
First of all,
they boxed his whole house up.
Oh my goodness. Hey, it was like a maze. It was like a rat maze. They come in, they were supposed to help unpack everything, right? So I had a game. We were going out of town, and my whole living room kitchen was ceiling high boxes. And I couldn't find anything. I couldn't even move in the house. I'm like, and they labeled things like shoes, but it was dishes. They labeled dishes, it was shoes. Clothes, which was trash. Stuff like that. And it just made. I didn't unpack that for about a year.
It was the whole season, King.
Yeah, it was.
It went on the whole season.
I was complaining the whole freaking year. I was so mad. I couldn't. I mean, every single day I was coming home having to unpack something. Every day. It felt like a job.
Yeah.
I would leave one job. And I felt like I had like 3 jobs. I'd leave one job and have to come home and unpack and then put everything away. So it was like 3 jobs.
Well, the good news is you've cut your commute in half at least, or more than half, right?
Let me tell you what I did. Hey, America, let me tell you what I did the other day. This made me feel really good going to the game. So I said I'm going to take a nap. Normally I'm on the road by 3:30 when I'm up here north. Day. It's a legit 2-hour ride, because you're in the heart of traffic. Wow. So now being closer, which that's what I did. I wanted to move closer to the city so I didn't have to fight the traffic. So the other day, Friday's game. So I'm sitting at home. I was like, I'm gonna take a nap. It's like 2:30. Should I get up at 3? Should I get up at 3:30? I said, wait a minute. I'm only 6 miles away from United Center. Why the hell am I gonna get up? I said, I can sleep till 5, and then get up and then go to the United Center. So I set the alarm to 4:30, and then I hit the snooze when it kept coming up. I kept hitting snooze, and then it got about 5 o'clock, and I got up and got dressed and ready to go. I left my house at 5:15. Had to stop by Citibank to get some cash. I had to grab the bag, and then going to United Center. It took me about 25 minutes to get there, and I was just like, this. I don't know why I haven't done this before. I've been doing this since I was 21, living out in the suburbs and being so comfortable out there. But that drive, man, it never got better. It got worse as I got older.
Yeah. And it's continued to, because people are back on the roads, And
then, now, but America, this is what I do for you, America. Every week, America, I come out here now. I'm coming out to the suburbs. I have to drive all the way back out here to the Sriracha Studios. Okay. For you, America. This is what I'm doing for you who listen to Give Me the Hot Sauce, the sacrifices that I make. I drove all the way out here 40 miles and I'm here.
Wow. What a hardship. Yeah. What a hardship, Mark.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the great things that...
it is. Oh, okay. So you want to go ahead and tell your story. Go ahead, because you guys come from Milwaukee, okay?
They got you beat.
From the Walsh estate. They come all the way from, but America, listen,
different state.
Don't feel sorry for them. They also have a condo down the city that they can actually go stay in when they want to, okay?
Which is about 40 miles from here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we'd be out the same distance. Matter of fact, you could have picked me up and then we could go.
We could.
See?
So it's all about getting him.
No, wait a minute. Let me tell you what I did in America. So the other day I called Stinger. I said, I just threw it out there because, they have this palatial state up in Wisconsin. And then they have this hot little penthouse. It's like a bachelor pad downtown.
Life is good.
So they always tell me, hey, Stacey, if you ever need our place,
for a year now.
Yeah, you've been saying it for a year. Yes, Beggmas ago. So the one time I threw it out there to him. Yeah. Sorry, I can't do it. Oh, sorry. It's been taken. Someone's living in it already.
We just rented it.
Yeah. And I had nowhere to go.
You saw a couple weeks ago when we showed up to record the podcast with a 20-foot U-Haul.
Yes.
Because we had to move ourselves in the morning.
But they used to have 2 places.
Yes.
One was theirs and one was their brother's.
Yes. So there was technically they have 3 places if you count the estate in Wisconsin. So they have 2 condos.
Well, your daughter's living in your condo now, right?
The kids live in one.
They pay rent.
They would host you if you'd like to go down.
Yeah, they would host you.
Listen, man. I came down there to get the other one. And then the one time I asked for it, I was like, hey, John, I might need to crash in your place. John's like,
no,
John said, let me call you back. I didn't hear back from for 4 days. So I had to get a Hilton. I had to go stay in the Schaumburg Hilton.
Oh, no.
Me and my son, we had to go stay there. No, not Holiday Inn. No. Holiday Inns in America. I don't know.
Well, you used to say you stayed at Holiday Inn.
I used to. That's only when I said I'm a doctor. I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. But America, I've been struggling last week, America. Please bear with me. Okay. I'm getting settled right now.
Your calls. The Caruso call that went viral, didn't it?
Awesome.
Listen, that it doesn't stop greatness.
Oh, okay.
Just because I'm struggling off the court doesn't mean that I am not going to flourish on the court.
You got to bring it.
You got to bring it. When that light comes on, that little red light comes on, Mark, you know this.
Yeah.
You got to turn it on.
That's right.
And that's what I do, America, for you. Chicago Bulls fans, Bulls Nation. That's what I do for you.
Well, speaking of turning it on, now that the regular season is here, you're going to be seeing Bulls games 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week, which means you're going to be hearing the Golden Pipes of Stacey King. And of course, he always supports one of our proud sponsors here at Gimme the Hot Sauce, our friend Jeff Vukovich and Nationwide Insurance. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, contact the king of insurance, Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich at jeffvuk.com. That's Jeff Vuk with a K.com. And Stacey, might as well get ready for the season. How about the jingle?
Nationwide is on your side.
All right. We are ready and rolling here on episode 51. Yes. And if you want to get on board the fastest growing podcast in America, we invite you to contact us via email. The email address is contactgths@gmail.com. Repeat that one more time for you. contactgths@gmail.com. You can also send questions that you might want to ask about what Whispers did on his vacation. What the Walshes are doing with all their fantastic properties that they own and things like that.
Monopoly.
We got on everything. We got a good story for later for rapid fire segment. Yeah.
But you know what, America, make sure you send in your questions because we will read them on the air. Yeah. And whatever you want to ask, we will read it on the air. That's what we do. We're the people of the people. Okay. We're your favorite podcaster. So let's keep throwing that out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the Bulls are coming off an undefeated preseason. Look a little dicey against Memphis, but they roared back in the second half. A very efficient 31 points for Zach LaVine. And watching him play, it seems hard to believe he could top what he did last year in terms of efficiency. But I think with the addition of the new players here, he's going to score easier, and it's going to be a lot more fun. I think people are looking at Zach now legitimately as a top 20 player in the league.
Yeah, but he was a top 20 player in my mind even before last year, and I think just watching him in preseason, the commitment to the defensive end has been the most important thing I've seen in these 4 preseason games, is just seeing his attitude towards defense and trying to get up and play people, get over screens where normally he wouldn't have done that. The last couple of years, he'd get stuck on a screen kind of like a fly in flypaper. But, now he's getting over using his athleticism. He's playing the passing lane, and just watching them play, like it was a good test against Memphis because that was a playoff team. And, every one of those guys, they were missing Dylan Brooks, but it was still a playoff caliber team. They had really good players. Their bench was athletic. They were just as athletic as the Bulls were. And with Ja Morant, everybody knows what kind of athlete he is. So I thought it was a great test for them. They got down early, but they battled back. There was times where they, in that second quarter, they dominated. There's only been a few times, Mark, in the preseason where they've lost the first quarter. They've been pretty much dominating teams in the first quarter, but they righted the ship, and then their bench came in and played well. Their bench is going to be key for them this year, as far as if they want to have success, because it's a long season, and as you have to rely on your bench on some games.
They ranked number 1 in the NBA in defensive rating through those 4 preseason games. It's only preseason, but when you consider how efficient they've been turning defense into offense, you've seen Caruso was taking a page out of your guy Rondo's books. He's calling out plays of the other team when he's out there. People are saying his basketball IQ is off the charts.
Listen, they're in the top 3 in deflections and, getting their hands on basketballs in the passing lane. That is key for defensive transition, offensive transition. If you're getting steals, that means you're getting more scoring opportunities. That means Zach LaVine is getting more shots if he's running on the break. That means DeMar DeRozan is getting more opportunities if he's running on the break. And Vooch coming in as a trailer is going to have opportunities as well. It doesn't all have to translate to be a half-court team, but there was some situations in that Memphis game that kind of gave you some pause a little bit because, Jaren Jackson has size. Steven Adams has size. And I saw like they kind of struggled with that a little bit. They kind of struggled with, and Steven Adams is not an offensive player.
No,
but he was looking like Shaq the other night. He was actually posting ups, trying to score. And I think Memphis realized the Bulls are small, and they said, hey, even with Steven Adams, he's bigger than anybody on their team. Let's just go to him. Let's see what they do. Let's see if they double him. Let's see if we can, get some easy baskets. And then Jaren Jackson played well. So I think the biggest question mark right now is the size. When they do go up against a size team like Embiid, someone who can post up and give them problems, how are they going to respond to that? So that's the one thing I took away just from that Memphis game, because that was the first out of all the 4 preseason games that we saw. That was really, and Valanciunas for New Orleans were 2 big guys that I thought gave the Bulls some problems in stretches. So it'll be interesting to see how they combat that this year when they do have to face some size.
How'd you think Patrick Williams looked in his first preseason action?
I thought he looked good. I thought he moved really well. I was just more concerned, not so much his playing style, his ability, because we all know he can do that. I was just going to make sure he's healthy, make sure that ankle is okay, because, they had diagnosed at first he was going to be out for a while. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, the powers of being young, he was able to get back and get back to being healthy. I thought he was aggressive. I thought when they passed him the ball a couple of times at the 3-point line, he didn't hesitate. I mean, he's got one of the most high arcing 3-point shots I've ever seen. Seriously, that thing literally, I think it hit the banner a couple of times. That's how high it was, but it goes straight up and it goes straight down. And so he can shoot it, but it's a high arcing shot. I thought defensively, I thought he did very well. They tried to, he's going to be matched up against power forwards this year. Like, he was guarding threes last year, and now he's going to be asked to be guarding guys like Jaren Jackson. Mm-hmm. And they went inside to him and tried to get him in foul trouble. He did a good job. He had a block on Jaren Jackson that started the fast break for the Bulls. So that's going to be adjustment for him. But you know what? The aggressiveness was there the other night when he was out there. He didn't hesitate. So that's what you wanted to see if you're Bulls fans.
The NBA season starts on Tuesday with a pair of games nationally televised on TNT, as we mentioned, Nets at Bucks and the Golden State Warriors at the Lakers. And Stinger sent out an exercise, a homework assignment for the crew, asking us to pick our top 8 in the East and West, pick a champion and an MVP. We're not going to go through all the picks, but let's go around the room. And who do you guys like to win the East? Stinger?
You know what? I went with the Nets.
Yeah,
I got Bucks too, but I got Nets.
Hey, line 1, we have the Milwaukee Bucks on line 1.
You are no longer, your services are no longer.
Why don't you go work for Brooklyn, sir?
Why don't you go ask the question, though? In the finals, I have the Bucks. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, we didn't get to that question. We didn't get to that question.
Well,
there was a 2-part question, but we didn't get to the second part.
You're threatening me with HR.
No. Listen, I just said it was Milwaukee on line 1. They want to talk to you. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So who do you have? Who do you have number 1? Do you want me to tell you, or do you remember?
This is the Bulls on line 1.
Hey, listen.
Hello.
Hey, listen. I'm an analyst. Okay. I must tell the truth. Okay. America. My number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. Go Bulls, baby. Let's do it. We're number 1. Woo, woo, woo. Is that who I put?
No, that's not who you picked.
That's not who I picked?
No.
Are you sure?
You can change it if you want.
You have them at 5.
Okay, I have them at 5. They're in the top
Nets,
5.
Just like I did. Nets 1, Bucks 2.
Okay, we're not answering line 1 for the Bulls right now, ladies and gentlemen.
This is
Bulls,
someone you don't want to talk to.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to them. The Skynet, the eye in the sky. Listen, I'm just being the truthful person here, okay? Because I'm an analyst. I get paid to do this job, America. It's not that there's no way in the world the Bulls are number 1. Let's just be real. Okay, let's be honest. Okay,
Nick would be happy.
Nick would be happy, but Nick wouldn't have him as high as I do.
No. Yeah.
I have him at 5. That means they're over Atlanta and New York, who were 4 and 5 last year. So I have him as 5th. And I still think that they can sneak up and be 4. I think they can be better than Miami too. But I'm just being realistic and say top 5.
Yeah, and you approve this message. Darnell is in the waiting room, the Sriracha. So
we got to get Whispers picked up.
Let's wrap up our picks. Go ahead, Whispers. What do you got?
Well, I went Bucks, Nets, Bulls.
Wow, he's got the Bulls in the top 4.
Yeah.
How about that?
And based on what he just said, because if you look at people sleeping on the Bulls, and they start to move up, they start to gel around that.
He's drinking it early.
Hey,
see?
And you got the drama in Philadelphia with Ben Simmons. You never know where they're going to be.
And did you see him in practice today? Did you see him in practice in the video?
Yeah.
He acted like he didn't want to be there.
He doesn't want to be there.
No, but the way his body language was in the drills, and I was just sitting there watching. I'm like, why they need to move him because this is going to be a problem.
They should have moved him months ago.
But you can't ask for the world for him. You got to be realistic. Plus, teams know that he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But just watching his body language today during drills, I was just like, man, it was so obvious. Like he did not want to be there. Like he was being forced to be there because they were taking their money. But I will say this, and I've been saying this all along. Kudos to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Good job, Philadelphia. Not to be held hostage, not to break and wilt under the pressure of a star player. You said, hey, look, we paid you $140 million. You are staying here unless we get the deal that we want. So you can either stay at home. We'll keep docking you $380,000 a check per game, or you can come in and play. And so he realized after losing close to $1 million, like, yeah, maybe I should start working on my jumper.
Maybe I should mope around the practice court.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, seriously. I mean, they did the right thing. You can't let these guys hold you hostage. Yeah. You can't get the money and then ask to be traded. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
doesn't work that way.
And meanwhile, TMZ got video this afternoon of Kyrie Irving playing touch football at a high school football field. So
yeah, but he's still worried about vaccination.
Wouldn't it be great if he got hurt playing touch football?
All right, Mark, what are your predictions?
Talk about
Mark?
violating the NBA contract. Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah, we'll wrap this up quickly. I've got Milwaukee finishing with the best record during the regular season. I've got Phoenix with the best regular season record, and I've got Brooklyn winning the championship. Got Giannis as the MVP. He's come back. He's shooting the ball well.
He's shooting the ball really well. I just want to go on the record. The King has the Lakers #1 in the West. Just file that one away.
Well, I'm just being honest. When they brought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back on the team and James Worthy, I had to give them the advantage. Okay, because LeBron went out and got everybody. He tried to get George Mikan, but George's not here anymore. Wilt Chamberlain's not here anymore. Yeah. So I mean, the guy got to give the guy credit. He went after the best players. Michael Cooper is using flex all 454 right now to get ready. Wilkes. Jamal Silk Wilk is ready to fill it up from the corner. But I will say, Connie Hawkins, all these guys, Dale Goodrich, Magic, so I would say I'm going to be honest. I think the Lakers are going to be the best team in the Western Conference. Doesn't mean they're going to get to the finals.
I'll bet you dinner for that one too. So throw me down for a dinner.
There we go. This guy here.
And who's going to win the title and the MVP?
I think the title is going to go to Brooklyn.
Okay. Yep. And your MVP, if you remember?
My MVP, I think I voted for Zach LaVine.
Wow.
No,
they didn't have Zach?
Zach LaVine spelled backwards is Jokic.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You didn't put Zach down for me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
American, they're trying to sabotage my pick.
Somebody get rewrite.
They're trying to sabotage my pick.
Not rerun.
He's got little fat sausage fingers. Oh, man, that's terrible. Zach's my MVP. Let's go, Bulls Nation.
Episode 51 of Give Me the Hot Sauce. Our special guest, Darnell Mayberry, is next. We are fired up about the start of the NBA season. Stacey's got the Bulls with the best record in the East, and Zach LaVine is his MVP. So, what could possibly go wrong? Let's get out to the voice of reason, the man who covers the Bulls for The Athletic. Our friend Darnell Mayberry joins episode 51 of Give Me the Hot Sauce. Darnell, thanks for joining the show. And I noticed during the offseason, and I know that's kind of your personality. I know you a little bit, that you're not willing to totally drink the Kool-Aid yet. You want to see them prove it on the court. But I think that they're starting to convince you during the preseason, the Bulls, that is, this could be a very good basketball team. Is that accurate about your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think they're going to be fun for sure. How good remains to be seen. They got to play the game. They got to gel. They got to come together. We got to see a couple different things offensively and defensively and from a coaching standpoint. But they are much improved than they were last year. And I do like the pieces. I think they fit really well together.
Yeah, they played great in the preseason. We were mentioning in the last segment that they have the #1 defensive rating in the league for the 4 preseason games. You can throw that out because preseason doesn't really matter a whole lot. But the thing that I've been impressed with is they're getting their hands on passes. They're getting out in the fast break. Billy Donovan wants to play at an up-tempo style, and it seems like all these players are well-suited. It's not like previous regimes where they were trying to play a style that didn't suit the talent. It seems like with Lonzo Ball as your point guard, they can play this fast and they can be effective at it.
Yeah, and the thing that you mentioned, them getting their hands on so many deflections and steals and blocked shots. I mean, they were letting their defense turn in the offense. So that's what Billy Donovan is preaching. That's what these guys are all coming in saying that they need to buy into, the defensive end of the court. And the fact that they did that in the preseason is a good sign going into the regular season that these guys are willing to sacrifice some of their offense and pay attention more to defense and let that kind of be their identity that leads to the offensive explosions that we saw throughout the preseason.
Well, DM, one of the things I saw, like I've been very impressed with the team in the 4 preseason games, but you played Cleveland twice and then you played New Orleans without Brandon Ingram and without Zion. I thought the Memphis was going to be a very good test for them because it was a playoff caliber team. You got John Morant that was playing. You got a lot of young talent over there that they play hard every night. They were missing Dylan Brooks. But the thing I took away and I had a little pause about, because we haven't seen it a lot in the first 3 preseason games, is what are they going to do when there is size, legitimate size of someone that can actually post up and hurt them. And I thought, when you look at Steven Adams is not a offensive, threat, per se. But they went to him in that Memphis game like he was Olajuwon in the post, and I thought it bothered the Bulls a little bit. I mean, there's not a lot of Steven Adams or Jokic's running around in the NBA, but there are teams that have legitimate, big guys that can post up and score. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it was one possession against the Grizzlies. It was either Steven Adams or Jaren Jackson Jr. They just grabbed the rebound in front of 3 Bulls. You probably remember the one I'm talking about.
Yep.
And just got a putback. And I think when the Bulls are playing small, those are the types of things that they have to guard against. They got to gain rebound. They got to get in there and find a way to rebound the ball so that their size isn't a hindrance and they're not giving up second chance opportunities. And just on that possession, it was good because they got a layup, but that can easily be kicked out for a 3. And you can start hemorrhaging points, giving up buckets that way. So that's the thing that I'm really concerned about. Are they going to be able to rebound, close out possessions? And are they going to be able to stop those second chance opportunities from leading to 3-point shots?
Darnell, we know that Zach LaVine picked up an Olympic gold medal in the offseason. He made the All-Star team last year. He had incredible efficiency numbers in terms of his shooting percentages. Can he take his game to another level? Can he become that guy and become probably the most sought-after free agent in next summer's class?
I think he can, Mark. And I don't think it's necessarily from a statistical standpoint. I think it's more from a stylistic standpoint and things, the little things that he needs to do to take his game to the next level. Can he take better care of the basketball? Can he improve his decision making? Can he improve his defense? We talked about some of his late game execution offensively. Will he be able to make clutch shots down the stretch? And he has made a couple in his career with the Bulls so far, but he obviously needs to be more consistent in that regard. So there are all kinds of things that Zach can really improve on and button up to go from really good to great. I don't think he's a great player. I think he's a great scorer. I don't think he's an overall great player yet. I think he's really good, but he can go from really good to great this year by cleaning up some of those things and showing some improvement.
DM, I've been really impressed with Lonzo Ball and what he brings to the table. I mean, legitimately getting out there, seeing a true point guard, pass first, pass second type of player. I've been more impressed with his defense. He's been great on ball. He's rebounded the basketball. I mean, 6'6", gets in there and he gets rebounds, snatches rebounds over guys. I've been highly impressed with what he has done. Tell me a little bit what you think that you've seen so far with him.
Yeah, I actually wrote about it today at the Athletic, Stacey. The first possession in the preseason, he bit on a Darius Garland pump fake, and I said, "Oh Lord, this guy's overrated." and we saw that so many times with the perimeter defenders last year. They just had so many moments where they got blown by defensively or they left their feet. How many times did we see Garrett Temple foul jump shooters last year? Yeah. He was their best, one of their best perimeter defenders. So the fact that Lonzo Ball started that way kind of made me nervous, but then he really, really locked in from there. And you saw it. You mentioned on ball defensively. He's fighting over screens. He's sliding and moving his feet. He's playing passing lanes. When he gets steals with his length, playing passing lanes, and then he can turn that into offense and lead the break in transition, the Bulls are really dangerous. And Billy Donovan talked so much about his pass ahead ability and how great he is at that. Just one of the elite point guards in this league in terms of passing the ball ahead and initiating that fast break. So I love what I've seen from Lonzo Ball defensively. I'm right there with you. Defensively, to me, he's been more impressive than he has been offensively. And I think he is actually making some right reads, running pick and roll, and spraying the ball out to shooters offensively. So I like what I've seen from both ends out of Lonzo Ball.
How about the DeMar DeRozan fit? I know he hates when those of us in the media ask him about how he's going to fit in this offense. I remember media day, he was just kind of like biting his words.
Really, it's Mark Chanowski. It's not
No,
anybody
no,
else.
no,
Don't
no,
drag
no.
us all into that.
No.
The media.
Billy's going to ask him to play, multiple positions, play power forward at times. It seemed like in the preseason, it was no problem for him to find comfortable spots on the floor where he could go to work. They ran him in some isolations. They had him coming off screens. How do you see his fit in the Donovan offense?
Yeah, offensively, he's a natural born scorer. We know what he can do. Watching that last game against Memphis in the preseason, he struggled with his shot. And I think there are going to be times when he does struggle with his shot and you kind of think, why are they letting him shoot so many mid-range shots? You can see why so many critics, when they signed him, were so critical of his lack of three-point shooting. He works really hard to get to his spot, and that's generally in the mid-range or at the rim if he can't get fouled, putting pressure on the defense. So when it works, it looks great. When it doesn't and he's missing like he was in that preseason finale, you kind of question, how does he fit into this thing? So, the best thing Bulls fans can hope for is that he gets to his spot and is comfortable and finds his rhythm sooner rather than later. And you think that he will. He's going into his 13th season. He's a four-time All-Star. He's an Olympian. DeRozan is one of the last guys that you probably worry about offensively.
Yeah, I'm not worried about DeMar. I think he's doing what he does best. He's going to get to his spots on the floor. He's going to find his mid-range game. He's one of the best mid-range shooters in the game. He gives an element the Bulls didn't have last year, a wing player that can get to the foul line. Whether it's 4 or 5 times a game is more than what they had last year. So, my thing with this team is that I've been really impressed with Alex Caruso. I thought he was a novelty when I first saw him, like in LA. It's like, oh, okay, the guy can dunk, Is he the guy that comes off the end of the bench? But the more and more I saw him with the Lakers and he got into their rotation and you actually saw him play, you recognize that he's a tremendous athlete, but he's a tremendous defensive player and he's a great communicator, has a high basketball IQ. You watch him out there on the floor, Darnell, he's calling plays. He's telling guys what play is coming next, get over the screen. He's talking. Last year, remember, the Bulls didn't talk. Like, you couldn't hear anybody talk on defense. There was no fans in the arena and we could hear everything. And you did not hear Bulls communicate defensively. Every preseason game this year has been communication every single time they're on the floor. Every second on the floor, you hear guys talking. So that tells me they're going to be much better defensively. But a lot of it, I think Alex Caruso is one of the main reasons why too.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Caruso since he was at A&M, Texas A&M. And, he was clearly an elite athlete at the college level back then. And he was a smart, heady player, you could tell back then. And he did kind of come into the league as a little bit of a novelty. And you're like, what can this guy do? But he's proven himself. And you got to give him all the credit in the world. He looks more athletic than he's ever been. And he's more confident than he's ever looked in terms of how he plays and distributes and just orchestrates the team. And maybe that comes with playing with LeBron James and that Lakers organization. He's been around some great players at this point, been around some great coaches. So I think that was a nice pickup for the Bulls. And not just him, Stacey, but Lonzo Ball. You throw those two guys back there together, and the perimeter defense is solved. These guys can get after it defensively and really use that to one of their strengths in terms of the identity of this team. So I'm really impressed with what I've seen from both of those guys in the backcourt. And I think if they can sustain that, then this team might be better than people think.
Darnell, we've done a number of these shows since the Bulls have made these acquisitions, and it's, we go through all the players, the new guys on board, and we never even talk about Nikola Vucevic, who just came at mid-season last year. It's like he's the forgotten man because it's the new guys, the flavor of the month. But this guy's going to be counted on to provide some rim protection, which is not his forte. Yeah. But he's also going to be able to space the floor with his three-point shooting. How does he fit, and how important is he going to be to the team's ultimate success?
Yeah, I had questions about him coming into the season. You got all these perimeter guys. You got the Bulls talking about playing faster, playing smaller. And you say, you got an all-star center here in Vucevic that you gave up a lot for. Where does he fit into this thing? And then one of those preseason games, I think it was the Pelicans game at home, they really ran a lot of offense through him. And you could see him being involved in a lot of actions, whether it was in pick and roll, pick and pop in transition, getting put back, just doing all the little things, making his presence felt offensively, and everything just seemed to run through him in that game. And it just showed you, he's not going to be a forgotten man. He is going to have a very prominent place in this offense all season, and they're going to rely on him. And as you said, defensively, they're going to need him too. And I actually like what I've seen from him. They tried to do some different things in that Memphis game. You saw him kind of attacking the pick and roll defensively a little bit more, playing up instead of down and back. So the fact that he was able to do that and move his feet, I mean, that showed you he's got a little bit more versatility to his game than I think he gets credit for.
Darnell, talk about where you think this Bulls team is and where you feel like they rank right now. If the playoffs started today, where would you put them in the playoff race? Because you hear different people say 11th, which I think is crazy. That's our good friend Nick Friedel. But people are starting to warm up to this team. Before the preseason started, you heard all these people talk about all the problems the Bulls are going to have defensively, blah, 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 blah. They'd be lucky if they get in a play-in game. Now you're starting to hear people now kind of jumping on the bandwagon like, hey, maybe this team is a lot better than what we think. They're getting some TV games added as they've gone along in preseason. So people are starting to get a little excited about on the outside.
Yeah, but my thing is this. I mean, after Milwaukee and Brooklyn, who scares you in the Eastern Conference?
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
Whispers has him third.
Yeah, hence number 3.
Listen, Darnell, I said the same thing. I said after the top 2 teams, Philadelphia, you don't know how that they're going to be. I mean, because with the Ben Simmons situation, and if you watch Ben Simmons, I was telling him before you came on, you watch Ben Simmons' body language in training camp today. It was obvious he didn't want to be there. He looked like a pouting 6-year-old who got his ball taken away. And that was sad too, because it's like, now you're on a championship caliber team. They believe they have a championship caliber team in Philadelphia. And if this kid's going to do this the whole year, you need to get him out of there because it's going to sour and spoil everything that you're trying to do. And it's going to poison what they're trying to do. But I don't even think they're a threat because of the stuff and Miami doesn't scare you. New York doesn't scare me. And I think Atlanta and New York, even though they were 4-5 last year, you got to remember Atlanta was terrible in the first half until they made the coaching change. And then they went on a run. I'm just not sold on young teams, making that big jump to the next level because you start to feel that you don't have to work as hard now because we made it and you really haven't. Atlanta gets all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Who knows what they're going to be this year? So that's why I say the Bulls are just as good as any of those other teams.
And the one team you didn't mention is Boston. I mean, they have clear talent, especially with those 2 guys, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but they got a first-year coach, with Brad Stevens moving now to the front office, and they just have been underachievers for the last several years. So Boston doesn't even scare me. I mean, those are the teams that you would look at: Boston, Philly, Miami, Atlanta, New York, probably. The Bulls should be with all of those teams. Now, they're not going to be on the same level as Brooklyn and Milwaukee, but those other teams that we just mentioned, the Bulls should be right in the thick. Now, how does it play out? Will these guys come together? Will they play defense consistently? Will they find an offensive identity that works for everyone and not just 2 or 3 guys? Those are all valid questions that we got to see how it all comes together. But if it does work and it comes together, then they should be right there. I'm not going to say that they're the 3 seed Whispers, but I'm going to say, maybe 4 through 8, 5 to 7, something like that.
I got them at 5, and I was being nice. I think they could be 4, but I'm going 5, being realistic. That they're a really top 5 team in the Eastern Conference. I said that when this whole roster was fixed, but again, you got to watch them play. If we're going off the small sample size that we're going off of in preseason, because that's all we can go off of. We've seen them play. We've seen them play defense. We've seen them play offense in a small sample size. I think the key for this team is that when it gets little, hectic, how do they respond? Because I thought in that Memphis game, you saw a little adversity. You saw some adversity that Memphis was kind of getting whatever they wanted. I really wanted to see how they would respond. I thought they responded really well in that second quarter to get back in that game.
I give Alex Caruso, your boy, a lot of credit. He's like a safety net for this team. He comes in and talks, communicates defensively. He hustles the weight.
Yes.
He had a play to seal the game where he launched himself across the lane to get this deflection that led to the transition layup. I think it put him up 9 or 11 points. Now it's basically the dagger, and it happens because of Alex Caruso. And every time they stick him in there toward the end of that second quarter, now Patrick Williams came back, but they got Billy Donovan's got this lineup where he's putting Alex Caruso out there with the starters, and that might be a closing lineup that he relies on a lot this season.
Where do you see when Kobe White comes back? Because I think it's an interesting dynamic with him and Caruso coming off as the two guards off the bench, because now Kobe can really concentrate on scoring, which we all think that's what he's best at, not as far as running a team and getting teams in. Can he play off the ball and run your offense? Yeah. But if you're asking him to be the point guard, I think Caruso is that point guard in that second group. He's in that Zach LaVine role, being a scorer a la Ben Gordon, coming off the bench and giving you buckets. Do you see his role being that way?
Yeah, and I'm kind of leaning more toward Billy Donovan these days, and he had to kind of point this out to me last year, and he preached on it so much about how everyone's saying he's a scorer and all of this, and an electric scorer. And Billy kept saying, no, he's a shooter. He's an elite shooter. And I agree with him. I mean, you look at, I think I counted it up. He had 7 games with 5 threes or more as a rookie, and then I think another 5 with 5 or more in the shortened season last year. Both seasons were cut short, but this guy can get hot, and once he starts rolling, it's hard to stop him. So if he can just get his feet set and doesn't have to worry about trying to shoot off the dribble or create, and he can just catch and shoot that thing like he's going to have opportunities to do this year with so many other guys commanding attention. I think Kobe White, if he has a future in this city, and that's a big if at this point. A lot needs to play out. He's got to get healthy first. But he could be a 6-man type just with his shooting ability. I really believe he could be that. And I know that's not what he wants. He fancies himself as a starting point guard. But look, they went out and paid Lonzo Ball a lot of money. They went out and paid Alex Caruso a lot of money. And frankly, they're better players than him at this point. They deserve to play. And so does Kobe. But I think it's going to be a lot more in a specialist role.
You look at the schedule after the first couple of games, they go like 13 games in a row against playoff teams, like back to back against Philadelphia. They got Golden State, Brooklyn. I mean, it's so many new pieces. How long do you think it's going to take for, like you said, to figure out who the offense is going to run through with Vucevic and DeRozan, and you don't have a lot of time. And is that a concern when you're playing that kind of schedule right away?
I mean, it is a concern when you look at some of those teams that are coming on the schedule, but it's a long season. They can get off to a slow start and have plenty of time to get right. And again, like the Eastern Conference, like we talked about, it's not that difficult to navigate to where you can't make up some ground, in January, February, March. So, I think they're going to be okay. But if it does get off to a bad start, I don't think people should panic. There's 10 new players on this team. That's 10. That's a ton of turnover. Yeah. So it's going to take them some time to really gel and figure it out.
I'm looking at the schedule right now, and to be honest with you, I think we win 5 out of 6 games. I mean, we got Detroit twice.
That's
New Orleans.
The beginning.
I don't care. We got to start somewhere.
The calm before the storm.
Okay, listen, Captain Hook. Okay, I'm just talking about right now getting off to a good start and getting your confidence built. So you're starting off with Detroit, twice. You got New Orleans, who's not going to have Zion, and then you got Toronto, who doesn't scare you, and then you got New York at home, and then Utah. They could possibly win 5 out of 6 games and get themselves, because it's all about the start. It's all about how good a start they get to continue to buy into what they've been doing and building off the preseason. That's what it takes with this team. And if they can go 5 out of 6, 4 out of 6, that confidence is going to be
I think the key is leadership. I mean, like you said, with LeBron, bringing all these players, there's leadership there. Hopefully Zach becomes that leader, because I think when things don't go well, they're going to be looking for a leader to kind of right the ship. And if Zach, he hasn't been in the playoffs, and there's been, I've watched him make some bad decisions late in games. So I think, is this his team now? Is he the leader?
Well, I don't think, and Darnell, you can chime in on this. I think last year with Zach in the fourth quarter, his numbers went down. His efficiency went down. He was asked to do so much for this team. He had to score. He had to get his teammates involved, and then come the fourth quarter, he's exhausted. Because I mean, when you're on everybody's scouting report and you're seeing 2 or 3 guys run at you every night trying to keep you from scoring, then come the fourth quarter, they're asking you to pull the game out for him. The guy was tired. But this year, you've got a lot of players that will take some of that responsibility off him, especially in the middle quarters. You got DeMar DeRozan, you got, Lonzo Ball, you got Vooch, who we keep forgetting about. He's the guy no one's talking about. So, I mean, there's other guys that will take pressure off of Zach to kind of relax him going into the fourth quarter, where he'll be fresher, he'll have fresh legs, and he will be able to do the things that he was doing in the early quarters. That's what I think.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Zach. I think he's gotten a really bad rap in his first 4 seasons in Chicago, and people are starting to finally turn around and see him for the player that he is. And that's a credit to Zach and all the belief that he's had in himself this whole time and the work that he's put in. But again, his fourth quarter issues are real, and he's not going to ever use the excuse of being tired. So I'm not going to give him that either. He's got to make better decisions. He's got to, he's had moments where he just, Stacey, you remember these moments where he got the ball, top of the key, he's trying to make a move, and he just goes up and the ball slips out of his hand.
Yep.
That's the type of stuff that we can't see anymore. I mean, those are the types of things, the dribbling off his foot, the turning the ball over in crunch time, crucial moments. I mean, the little things that needs to be cleaned up by Zach in the fourth quarter are very real things that he needs to address before we can say he's taking that next step.
Would you think that with the other additions like Alonzo Ball, and DeMar DeRozan, we've seen DeMar in these preseason games into quarters, into the half situations, go isolation at the top of the key, and Billy allowing him to be the guy to do that. It's not always Zach. Where before we got all these guys, it was always Zach who was taking into the quarter shots, into the half shots. And now Billy has a lot more, tools in the toolbox to do some different things with. And we've seen that in preseason.
Yeah. And then there's the other thing is this team could be so explosive offensively. There could be some fourth quarter crunch time moments, or not crunch time, but fourth quarters where these guys might not even have to play. They could be so good offensively to where Zach can take the fourth quarter off. DeMar can take the fourth quarter off. Or maybe they're not needed in the final 5 minutes because the game got out of hand. So in favor of the Bulls. So, it's going to be interesting. Billy Donovan has a lot of weapons at his disposal now, and Zach LaVine doesn't have to do it all. And I do think that he's okay with, and we talked to him today, he's okay with taking a back seat and doing whatever it takes to win. He was asked today at practice, what are your goals this season? And he said win. And that is what his mission is in his 8th season. He's now an all-star. He's now one of the best scorers in the league and universally recognized and respected as such. He's an Olympian. He's got his respect individually. So the only thing Zach LaVine hasn't done is win. So he knows that whatever it takes, he needs to go out there and do that so that he can help this team win.
And just to put this in perspective and context, that his shooting in the fourth and 3-point shooting are the lowest per quarter in his career. So just, there are the numbers there.
Well, thank you for pointing that out.
Well, I'm just saying, like what Darnell said,
appreciate that.
Maybe he doesn't have to be out there in those pressure situations, or
that's if they're blowing teams out, like we've seen here.
But he could be a second option or something if DeRozan on isolation or something. But
I honestly think they're going to go with whoever the hot man is. If whoever's got it going, it could be DeMar DeRozan that Billy relies on in a game. It could be Lonzo. Even though Lonzo's pass first, pass second point guard, it could be Kobe White. It's in there, or Caruso. It could be but the point is that he has so many weapons. Last year, let's just be honest, not taking away anything and not trying to badmouth guys, that wasn't an NBA roster. I mean, there was guys on there that probably would not be on the NBA, on other teams. And, you just didn't have a lot of talent. And now you've got talent even on the bench. I mean, you look at the guys coming off the bench. You got like the second round pick, Io, who's a first round talent. He may not get any run this year because the team is so deep, and he can play. He's shown you that he can get out there and run the point guard position, can go isolation and win games for you. I mean, Javonte Green, there's so much talent, Troy Brown Jr. We just saw Tony Bradley for the first time And even though he wasn't in game shape, Darnell, I thought he showed some things out there that he can move. He can be a rim protector. He can slide out there on the pick and roll. He's not 100% healthy as far as his win is concerned, but the little stint that he was out there, I was like, man, this kid is pretty good. And then Alizé, who comes out there with this high energy, high motor type of guy, they're going to have that guy at their disposal as well. So they got a lot of talent, man, a lot more talent they've had here in a long time.
Yeah, I like Javonte Green. I've heard you on the broadcast. Stacey.
Yes.
I really like Javonte Green. I think he has carved out some minutes. Alizé Johnson has done himself a lot of favors with his performance in the preseason. So they've got some guys that they can turn to off that bench. And when Kobe White comes back, it's going to add another dynamic and add another dimension to that offense that's going to make this team really, really dangerous. So when they get healthy, when they get whole, it's going to be fun to watch how all the pieces fit together and what Billy Donovan does with it. He's got some decisions to make. Is he going to stagger Zach and DeMar? Is he going to play Zach and Vucevic together like we've seen throughout the preseason? Is he going to keep Lonzo Ball and DeMar together? When is Patrick Williams going to have his opportunities with those other four guys as starters? So it's so many different combinations and decisions that Billy Donovan has to make this year. But like you're saying, the biggest thing is they've got all of these options now. They've got weapons. It's a luxury. It's a good problem to have.
Hey, Darnell, last thing before we let you go. I know that you covered Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City, and you're the beat writer down there. Russ has moved on again. He's been starting to bounce around the league, going from Houston to Washington, now to LA. How do you think it's going to work with him, LeBron, and AD and the Lakers with that mummified supporting cast? Are they going to win another title for LeBron, and is Russ going to fit in okay over there with those big personalities?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna lead to them in the NBA Finals for sure. I think that's how it's gonna work out. Whether they can win it, I don't know. I think this is Kevin Durant's year. We got to figure out what's going on with Kyrie Irving and what the Nets do with him. But with or without him, I think the Nets are the most talented team in the league. Kevin Durant's feet being inches across that three-point line
That's right.
last year, I don't think he's forgotten that. So, I do think the Nets and the Lakers will be in the finals, and at that point, it's a coin toss. But I think Russell Westbrook's going to fit. I mean, the thing is, he's playing with one of the greatest players of all time in LeBron James. He's playing with probably the best big man in the league right now in Anthony Davis. And if you're Russell Westbrook, regardless of what you've accomplished, you got to take a backseat to those guys. And I like Billy
Can he do that though?
Yeah.
Will he do that?
Yeah, like Billy Donovan has decisions on how to stagger. I think Frank Vogel is going to do the same thing with those guys and give Russell Westbrook time to where he can run the show, play pick and roll with Anthony Davis. And look, Russell Westbrook you can say a lot of things about him, but he plays hard every single night.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And he's going to give you everything he's got, particularly offensively. We can nitpick his defense as well, but I don't see him going to his hometown and acting a fool with LeBron James on his team and Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
He's going to go in and fit in.
Hey, look, real quick, Darnell, on the league pass, when you're not covering the Bulls, if you're not what team would you like to watch? I mean, if people out there are looking to pick up a team this year, there's been so many changes. What team are you going to be watching a lot this year?
Man, there's so many great teams to just watch. I mean, not necessarily great teams, but great teams to watch. You got the veteran teams like Brooklyn, Milwaukee, the Lakers. But then you got so many young teams. The Memphis Grizzlies, we just saw them the other night. Stacey, you didn't mention Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
But he came out there like, y'all still haven't given me this contract? Okay,
Yeah.
And then what happened? A day or two later, he gets $105 million. So the way he was playing, and with Ja Morant, I got Memphis as my team on the rise. Phoenix, we saw them last year, what they can do. I'm a huge Chris Paul fan. I don't know why they're not paying DeAndre Ayton. But there's so many different teams, and I'm a huge Damian Lillard fan as well. So, they've got some issues that they're trying to figure out. Chauncey Billups with his first head coaching job up there with the Blazers, that's going to be an intriguing team to watch. And then another sleeper I'd give you guys is, speaking of new coaches and new places, the Indiana Pacers with Rick Carlisle. I think they're in the same division as the Bulls. They could be an intriguing team. Malcolm Brogdon just got his another 2-year extension today. So they got some talent on that team. What's Karis LeVert going to be able to do? Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis, they got some real good talent on that team. Although I still think the Bulls are overall more talented than them. But they got Rick Carlisle, and that can help. One more question. Where do you see the win total for the Bulls this year? 31 last year. Where do you see it this year? Anywhere from 42 to probably 46. I don't see them as a 50-win team, but I could see them, surprising for sure. Like I said, the Eastern Conference, they can compete with almost anyone in the conference. And if they go 42 to 46 wins, I think that's a step in the right direction. No one's expecting them to go out there and win 50 to 55. I don't think. Whispers, what do you got them at?
51.
I got them at 50. I said they'll win this year.
Okay. I mean, like I said, a lot would have to go right. I think they'd have to stay healthy, obviously, number one. And then they've got to gel and come together, figure out the chemistry on both ends, offensively, and then maintain that consistency defensively.
Well, hopefully, as they mentioned, Stacey mentioned, they get off to a fast start and get some confidence going and getting everybody aboard the bandwagon. And if you don't have a subscription to The Athletic, you should do it. So follow our guy, Darnell Mayberry, who covers the Bulls, does a great job. Terrific writer. Make sure that you get out and get your subscription to The Athletic. Darnell, we want to thank you for joining us on Give Me the Hot Sauce and look forward to seeing you at the United Center this season.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all having me.
Appreciate it, Dick.
Darnell Mayberry, episode 51 to Give Me the Hot Sauce rolls on. We're going to go rapid fire when we come back.
Give me the hot sauce.
Our thanks to Darnell Mayberry. Want to keep the basketball talk rolling for just a little while by giving some props to the WNBA champion Chicago Sky. What an impressive effort to knock off the Phoenix Mercury in 4 games, win the first championship in franchise history. Yeah, I had a chance to be there at Wintrust Arena, Stacey, on Friday night. Sold out. It was crazy. I mean, it was like watching the Bulls in their heyday with the way the crowd was reacting.
Yeah, I tried to get in, but it was sold out. They wouldn't let me in.
They wouldn't let you in. Come on now.
They wouldn't let me in. The door was locked. They said, "I'm sorry, she got your ticket earlier, Mr. King. You can go watch it from the bar down the street."
Did you show them your man card?
Yeah, I showed them the man card. I even showed them the Give Me the Hot Sauce bottle, and they said, "I'm sorry, we don't need the hot sauce right now." Okay, so it's just like when I went to the Walsh's house to try to in Timmy's to get some barbecue. I was shut out.
Here we go again.
I was shut out. They wouldn't let me in.
Violin in the world.
Yes.
Right
No, but you know what? Honestly, though, it was so great seeing that because they weren't even expecting to get out of the first round. Mm-hmm. The 6th seed, no one expected them to win a game in that first round. And the way they played is almost like a different team.
Right.
It did not look like the same Sky team.
Yeah, they were 500 during the regular season.
They did not look like the same. That's when you really say they turned it on to another gear. Like they just completely flipped the switch and they were a totally different team.
Well, part of the problem for the Sky early in the year was Candace Parker came into camp with a bad ankle, and then she aggravated early. I think she missed like 9 games. So that's such a short season. You have your star player miss 9 games, it's going to have a big impact. But, she's in her 30s now. But you could see that leadership, that veteran poise in these big playoff moments. She got all the key rebounds. She didn't score a ton of points, but they were all critical points. She made the shot to tie the game in Game 4.
Well, I mean, she's one of the most decorated players in WNBA history. She's been MVP. She's won championships. So that all counts for something in these moments. And when you've got girls who've never been in this situation, never been this far in the playoffs, to have a leader like her to be able to settle everybody down, calm down. We're going to be good because, Phoenix is one of the best teams consistently every season. And you got Diana Taurasi, and then you got Brittany Griner, who I thought that would be a problem for the Sky, that they would not be able to defend her. And it was almost like she was non-existent out there. I mean, in certain games. And, just watching Candace get key rebounds and key defensive plays was a calming effect on those younger players and those players who had not been in a finals before. And you could just tell they wanted to win it. Once every series they won, the confidence just grew like 100%. Every single series. And once they came out of their conference finals and got to the finals, you could just tell they won Game 1 in Phoenix. You're like, okay, they're going to win this. So I thought they'd sweep them, but then Phoenix came back and won Game 2. But they just had this confidence about them that they were not going to lose.
And the pride of Joliet Catholic High School, Allie Quigley, who played at DePaul, she hit 3 big 3-pointers in the fourth quarter that brought him back. And
Clutch,
a lot of people know the story. She's married to the point guard, Courtney Vandersloot. And so that's the ultimate in chemistry. And the way those two play together is really something to watch. I mean, they run plays and they have the sixth sense about where the other one's going to be.
Well, it comes down seriously, like fundamentals and basketball IQ. And when you have high basketball IQ, the game is easy. That's what you're seeing. That's what you saw with this guy, because you have those two players. You throw Candace Parker out there, and then Copper, all these other
Kalia Copper. She was the finals MVP.
So all these players that we're naming here are basketball junkies. They're high basketball IQ, and that was one of the reasons why they won. And it was an amazing thing for the organization, because they were an expansion team, and it seemed like they never were ever going to be close to winning one. And when they did have good teams, they got knocked out early in the first round or whatever. You had Deladon here. You thought that she would be the person to deliver a title here. She didn't want to be here, wanted to be traded back off to the East Coast. So she left, and she's probably right now with the bitter beer face. I should have stayed. God,
they get a parade now, which is nice.
It's coming up on Tuesday.
Yes, 2016, right?
Yes. We're gonna get Larry the Lobster out there on top of the car, with his shirt off. Right? He's gonna take his shirt off. Yeah, and he's gonna have Wimbledon white shorts.
Boy, we got off track there.
Really got off track.
But anyway, I want to see that. James Wade and the WNBA champion Chicago Sky. That was the high point of the Sunday viewing experience. The low point was what happened at Soldier Field. And losing to the Packers has become commonplace. But the celebration by Aaron Rodgers after he ran for that clinching touchdown.
I own you.
And the network audio people captured that. I mean, that's pretty cold right there.
Man. Hey, but you know what though? It's true.
I know, but you can't be engaging.
Yes, you can, because tell them what the fans were saying to him. Remember when he got sacked?
Do that the whole game.
He got sacked, and then somebody did the belt thing when the Bears players did it, and so that comes back to haunt you at the end. You can't do those kind of things when you sack a quarterback. You don't do his little dance on him. You just don't do that. This go back to the huddles. I got Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, and be happy.
It's funny. I was listening to the Waddle and Sylvie driving in here to the Hustle and Flow studios, and they were talking. One of the callers came in and was just like irate. He goes, "I can't believe you." I always respected Aaron Rodgers, but it was totally classless what he did. And Tommy Waddle says to him, "You remember when Michael Jordan was playing and telling the Cleveland they can go the F home, after they beat him." So he goes, "Did that bother you?" He goes, "No, that was different." No. That just shows on the fan.
That was
experience.
our guy.
Yeah.
Listen, man. I mean, it's part of sports. I mean, this is a bitter rivalry. It's a bitter rivalry, and I listen. The Bears hung in there as long as they could. Yeah. Okay. Who was it? Greg Olson was doing the
he was
analyst. Okay. Yeah. He's very good. I like him.
Joe Davis.
He showed me something like the reason why, Fields was having a hard time finding receivers, because they couldn't get open.
Yeah.
They could not, they were never in their breaks. Like he diagrammed it. First time I've ever seen this.
The telestrator.
He telestrated. Yep. The telestrator, I'm a massive telestrator. So he pulls out a play and he goes, "This is the reason why this kid is struggling. They need to put him in positions where these guys get out of their breaks quicker." So all these guys are running downfield. They're like
they don't have protection for that.
They're like slow motion, and it's like 10 yards down, 8 yards down, and there's like a tree, and none of them got into their breaks. And it's because, like I said, because number one, they're running too far routes. You got everybody running basically the same route. Everybody's going 10 or more yards. And then the offensive line is not very good. So therefore, you don't have that time that Aaron Rodgers has. You don't have that time that Mac Jones has, even as a rookie, or Dak Prescott. He's got to be able to get quick hitting plays, boom, 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 get it out of his hands, or run the ball. And it was a very telling telestrator. It was very telling. Did you see it?
I did see
it. Yeah, it was very telling.
What was also telling is that after the game, Southside sat there and we watched the Patriots, and then she had to watch his commercial, that goofy State Farm.
He's a game show host.
Yeah, it's a game. So not only did she have to watch the game, but then she has to. Yeah, it was terrible.
Up there in Packer Health.
Yeah.
Yes, I like Aaron Rodgers. I like Aaron Rodgers. Look, he got listen.
He's got
good for you.
He got some swag about him. I don't really like the hair that he's doing. I don't like that.
I'm not sure what's
I
going on.
I don't know what's going on there.
He might need to talk to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he might need to cut that off.
He styles
could
his
give
hair.
a reference.
Yeah, he might need to cut that off. He might need to call Jake from State Farm and ask him, a bar where I can go to, because that doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Not a good look.
Get the discount.
But he's a bad man though.
Yeah,
he's a bad man. I mean, dude runs in, gets smacked as he's going across the goal line, and then he basically tells you, "I own you. I own you forever."
I'd say he's a crazy athlete.
Yeah.
If you watch that golf this summer, like he barely played. He gets out there. He's, it's like you can tell he's got feet. He's got the vision.
And then look at how he throws the football.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw it. He throws at different angles. So both him and Patrick Mahomes are like two of the quarterbacks that can do that. They can throw from different angles and still throw the ball 30, 40 yards down the field.
Crazy.
All right. I've heard enough.
Southside, she's heard it.
So, Southside, what you're saying is you're not going to be wearing your Aaron Rodgers jersey to the Piggly Wiggly this week?
No. She's got is that a bear shirt?
Yeah, she's bear down. And look at that.
Yeah,
she's off at the White Sox.
Oh God, here we go with that.
That was last week.
But the Chicago Sky are WNBA champions.
Yeah.
You should have had a Sky shirt.
Exactly. I don't have one.
John, you need to get on that. Okay. Don't buy the cable fight this week.
Done.
Use that money.
Whispers has got a sky blue on. He's supporting.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Stacey, your Sooners look pretty good over the weekend. That quarterback's the real dude. We're talking Spencer Rattler for the Heisman, and the other kid's better.
No, I never talked Spencer Rattler for the Heisman. No. If you saw QB1 on Netflix,
right?
Okay. Yeah. I'm America, Sooner fan, Sooner Nation. Y'all might be mad at me. I don't care. Okay. But that kid, to me, in that QB1 documentary on Netflix was not a good teammate. He was brash. I don't mind you having confidence. I don't mind you having a little, being a little pistol here and there. But the way he was treating his teammates, the way he was walking around, I was just like, we got this guy coming to Oklahoma. I wasn't a big fan. And then I hear things that people don't hear.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. I got my ear to the turf. So I hear everything that goes on in Soonerland. Okay. Because I'm basically one of the governors of Soonerland. I'm big time. Yes. When you have your jersey hanging up in the rafters, America, and you're in the Hall of Fame down there, you have a little bit more privileges. You get certain privileges. Yeah. So a lot of people weren't happy with him. And they were really clamoring for the change. And I think Lincoln Riley felt loyalty to him, and they didn't do it sooner. But this kid, Caleb Williams, coming in,
he was nice.
Is the real deal.
Yeah.
The first time we saw it in the Texas game. People have been talking about this kid since he came on campus, but no one ever really saw him. They saw him in the spring game. They were like, man, everybody's like, this kid should be the quarterback, but he's a freshman, So he goes in that Texas game. First play, he touches the ball, runs 66 yards for a touchdown. He's a dual threat guy, not just a running quarterback with an average arm. He's got a big time arm.
He can sling it. Yeah.
He can throw. He can make every throw, but he's athletic. He can run 6'1", 218 pounds. Yes. Turn it up, John, because we're still undefeated.
That's right.
Yes,
you're back to 3.
Okay, but you know what? George is there. George is legit.
Yeah,
George who's legit. Number 2?
Cincinnati, but they don't play anybody.
Hell no! Yeah. Get them off. They shouldn't even be in the top 10. I'm sorry, Cincinnati fans.
Desmond Ridder.
Hey, listen. Yes, he is a good player. Okay, listen, Cincinnati Bearcat fans. If you're fans of Give Me the Hot Sauce, I'm sorry.
Alabama's 4.
Okay, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
How about the Big Ten? Listen, can we move on?
No. Cincinnati should not be 2. I'm just saying it. Should they be in the top 10? Yes, but not number 2. Look what Iowa. Iowa's a pretender. They're not a contender. Yeah, they're a pretender. They got spanked by Purdue.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, what the hell are they doing number 2?
At home.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about this though for the Big Ten? OSU 5, Michigan 6, Penn State 7, Michigan State 9.
Yeah. Okay, but you know what? The best team in the Big Ten is Michigan.
But you know what? The best time in college football is in Madison, because we went to Madison this weekend. It was college Saturday. Saturday.
It was a horrible game, though.
It was a terrible game.
It was Army, but
nobody went to it.
It was a great pregame. We had an amazing pregame. We had a lot of fun.
That was the excitement.
Nothing like walking to Camp Randall, man, and doing a jump around. and
Yeah,
Buttercup.
Did you jump around, Susan?
I absolutely
Yeah.
did.
Did you, John?
That's great.
It was my first
Are you
time.
kidding me? I jumped all the way around. Yes.
Stacey, you have no
He's
idea.
putting a dent in the concrete he was jumping on. So
Oh my God, for real?
I was happy to learn that
Yeah.
it was concrete because every time I watched that,
yeah,
on
the building
television, I
sways.
thought,
They say the
"Holy
upper deck
crap,"
sways.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's concrete, so I had a little.
Oh,
I
man.
felt safe.
So the experience was worth
It
it.
was cool.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
It
And
was-
The
we're
game
playing
sucked, though.
Army.
Game sucked though.
Hey, I mean, Army kept it
We had
close.
fun.
I mean, it was cool seeing the Army guys on the sideline, their
Yeah, there's
fatigues.
something else.
Did they do the push-ups or anything when they?
No, they don't do
We
the
stayed at
push-ups.
the
But
hotel with those guys.
yeah, we
and
were.
Did you?
Yep.
They were. I felt like saluting in the line for Starbucks. You know?
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
Jesus. It's kind of hard to.
We
root
went to
against the
State
Army.
Street and waited for
Saluting them.
30
I mean, they're
minutes
so
or so to get
serious.
into a
Yeah.
bar. Yeah,
you can't beat the prices on the drinks there too.
No, the pictures were, they were pretty
I
reasonably
don't know. I
priced.
was giving my daughter money for pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she was pocketing it.
Oh wow.
She wasn't bringing back any change.
So you had a
yes.
great experience.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Wisconsin still sucks. And the reality of the thing is, America, it was a terrible game. Army, that's why I said game. All right, listen, Big Ten fans, I will give you this. I will throw
Who do you
this-
like?
I will throw you this nugget. Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines are for real. I will say that.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the Big Ten this year. This might be the first time he beats Ohio State.
Ooh, going on the record.
It's been a long time since
it's
they've
been a
beaten
long
Ohio
time.
State, yeah.
But this might be the year that his team beats Ohio State. Ohio State, they lost. Who did they lose to early in the season? Non-conference. Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Oregon's 10th.
Listen, yeah, they're 10th.
Oregon's 10th,
But
so-
Michigan,
They lost to Stanford, though.
yeah, they lost
Terrible
Stanford.
loss.
Yeah.
But Michigan looks like the real deal, both sides of the football. So I'm
Yeah.
calling it now, America. Where are they playing at?
He's
Are they
going
playing
on
Ann
a
Arbor?
limb.
Are they going to Ann Arbor?
They've got to go to Michigan State, to Penn State,
Yeah.
and then they host the
they-
Buckeyes.
Dude,
Okay, listen.
that's three ranked teams.
They are going to destroy all
Write
those
that
teams.
down.
All right.
I'm writing it
Michigan
down.
Hey,
is
my
going to
son
beat.
will be very happy.
Yes,
A proud
Michigan's
graduate.
going to beat Penn State, and they're going to beat Michigan State. They always do. And then they're going to beat Ohio State at home. They're going to win those 3 games.
All
and they're
right.
going.
You heard it here.
Hey, America, listen to me.
I'm writing it down.
FanDuel, you better get on and start betting. FanDuel, the king is talking. You better go out there and do it. I'm winning money for you, baby. Just give me a percentage. Give me a percentage. Parlay, baby. Parlay.
You got tonight's picks, huh? Just it was
I'm just giving a little insight of what I know.
Okay.
We'll check in on the baseball playoffs before I say goodbye. The Atlanta Braves off to a 2-0 lead over the heavily favored Dodgers. A couple of walk-off wins come from behind victories. I know you've sported a Braves hat on occasion here.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
son.
right.
Yes doesn't mean I'm a fan.
Oh.
I just like the colors. Okay.
Wow.
Hey, I'm a fan of the Dodgers. Okay. I'm the
The super team?
the evil empires. New York Yankees and the Dodgers.
Where are
my
they?
teams.
We're
Okay.
the Yankees.
You know what? We're the Brewers.
We're the Red
Oh,
Sox.
yeah, exactly.
What about our-
now you're a Red Sox now.
Hey, what about our guy Carlos Correa? He was the hero.
Yes,
of the game.
Carlos. Yes, Carlos, man. Carlos, that's
boy.
my dude. Hey, listen, I want to see him do well.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see him beat the White Sox. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I wanted him to have a great series, but I didn't want the Astros to win, and they won.
Yeah, if you get a chance, check out Carlos Correa. He was a guest on Give Me the Hot Sauce earlier in the year. Really great. Talking about
Listen, and
MMA.
here I am. Hey, America, White Sox. I'm still sporting. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I know, honestly, the reason
I'm
why I'm
just
wearing this,
taking a
the reason why I'm wearing this is because it matches my sweatshirt, and I didn't have a hat to match the sweatshirt.
Everything else is in boxes, is what you're saying, right?
So
The truth
as you can see, I'm matching over here. So, but unlike Southside, who jumps off the bandwagon when things don't go well, she doesn't want to be called Southside anymore. She wants to be called Northside. And I
That's
told her I
not
refuse to
true.
call her Northside. Refuse.
All I
That's
know
not
is
true.
when Carlos Correa goes, "What time is it?" It was episode 26. He goes,
All right.
"What time is it? It's time not to pitch to Kiki Hernandez."
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
guy is en
Wow.
fuego.
Sitting almost 500 in the postseason.
Wow.
Oh, Racha. Saucy.
So now your New England fandom is going to come out.
Yes.
And you're a big Red Sox fan all of a sudden?
Right?
Yeah,
all
our
of a
team.
sudden,
Our team.
All of a sudden.
all of a sudden,
Were you? Wait a minute. Hold on.
all
Were
of
you
a
Red,
sudden-
were you a Red Sox fan? Okay, we're gonna give you the Red Sox. Okay? But where were you at yesterday when Dallas and
I was,
New England? Were you watching that game?
Yeah.
That was a tough loss.
That was a real tough
It
loss.
was not good at
Let me
all.
tell you something. Dallas should have lost that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they didn't go for it fourth and
That was
inches,
Yeah.
and they
bizarre.
kicked the field goal, you got Ezekiel Elliott
Yeah.
and a big offensive line,
Yeah.
That was
and then they
bizarre.
missed the field goal.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, they deserve to lose.
Yeah.
How do you not? And you're on the other end. You're on
I know.
in New England territory.
Well, New England did the same thing in overtime.
Oh,
They were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's 4th down. We better punt the ball." Are you kidding me? They couldn't
Oh,
stop
man.
Dallas.
man,
They
I
could
was-
not. They were worn out. Yeah,
I was mad.
Mac Jones is looking good. He's looking.
Yeah, unfortunately, lost.
Yeah, but it's Dallas. Dallas is a pretty good football team right now.
The Cowboys.
See. Yeah.
The Cowboys. How about them boys?
Yeah, we'll see when they have
How about them Cowboys?
We'll see when the weather turns and they have to go east.
Who? Dallas?
Yep.
Listen, America. Listen, I just want to throw this out here, America.
They are gonna.
I've been a closet Dallas Cowboy fan. You know, I used to be a real Dallas.
You grew up in Oklahoma.
I grew up in Oklahoma when
not?
Rodgers, Staubach, and Danny White. I had to jump off the bandwagon when they sucked. Okay, I mean seriously, I'm not gonna lie.
At least he admits he's a front runner.
Yeah, I'm being honest.
Like
I'm not lying, America. I jumped off the bandwagon because they stunk. I wasn't a Cowboy fan last year because they sucked. They had the Red Rocket or the Red Rock, whatever his name is, his quarterback.
He's here now.
Yeah, he's here now. Okay, well, anyway, they sucked. Okay, but now we're back. I'm coming out of the closet. I'm jumping back on the horse. And I'm riding with my Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Oh, I've been shot by Jerry Jones. Oh, Lord. Jerry, I'm sorry for jumping off the bandwagon.
You know, Jerry's going to medal at one point, and they're going to go east when it gets cold, and they're going to fold like a house of cards.
How about the Cardinals?
Undefeated.
They look like the real deal. I mean,
the Oklahoma quarterback, Kyler Murray.
I didn't know that. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that.
There you go.
You know, I didn't want to say that.
It's all right.
You can say it because you recognize talent too.
That's right.
So I didn't want to say it, America, because it'd sound like I was a homer. Okay, but honestly, there is an Oklahoma quarterback in the Cardinals, and they're undefeated.
Hey, can he do all those commercials then instead of that Baker's? I mean, do we have to see more commercials?
Baker's good in those commercials.
I know, but they're tired.
I love the trick or treating with the nacho sauce. That's
Baker is like Peyton Manning. And when he did, he has that sense of humor type thing, and that look always looks confused in the commercial. Yes, I like Baker in those commercials, and as long as there's a Sooner on TV, I will watch it. I will watch that commercial. If someone comes on from Wisconsin, better quarterback from where?
Between those two that we just mentioned.
We just saw it this weekend.
Yeah.
Who did you see? Who did you see that was the better quarterback?
I'm just saying.
Okay, I know who's better. Yeah. I know that they're both good.
Yeah.
But I know who's better.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Because if one was 1 and one was 6. So America, you do the investigating of who I'm talking about. Kyler Murray is the best of the two. I've been shot by Kyler Murray.
Play the Oklahoma's fight song. It's about time to get out of here because
it is.
Because Stacey's out of control now with the Sooners rolling. Kyler Murray undefeated.
I can't keep up. We
got America, OU DNA, baby.
We gotta write this stuff down, man.
Yes.
There's a lot of jumping around.
Woo! The Sooner, get on the Sooner bandwagon, baby. We're going to the national championship. We're going to beat Alabama and we're going to beat Georgia.
Slow your roll. You got Kansas first. At Kansas. No, that'll be tough.
Is Kansas even got a football team? Oh, Lord. Easy win. 7-0, baby. 7-0.
Oh, my God.
Boomer Sooner, baby. Boomer Sooner. If the Sooners lose, I will jump off the bandwagon. I ain't gonna lie.
So remember, if you'd like to hop on board the express that is the Gimme the Hot Sauce train, if you'd like to be a sponsor or advertise with the show, send us an email. Contact GTHS@gmail.com. Again, contact GTHS@gmail.com. If you have a question about the Sooners or anything else, we'll be happy to answer it. So we'll be looking forward to doing that next week for episode 52. We're glad to have Whispers back. Pretty quiet. No lewd comments today, but that's all right.
I didn't get an opportunity, but I'll store some up.
All right. You owe us 2 next week. That's going to do it for episode 51. We didn't even mention the fact this is the Dick Butkus episode, one of the greatest linebackers of all time.
From Chicago, played at U of I, and a Bear. Famous actor after his playing career. I don't know, but I just remember that photo of him, the sidelines, his hands are all bloody. Gnarled. That's when football was football.
Yes.
We got more Bears linebackers coming up in future episodes in the course of the 50s.
Yes, we do.
And Stacey's got his schedule starting Wednesday in Detroit, back home to play Friday against the Pelicans.
Bulls Nation. 5 out of 6 wins, baby. You heard it here first. Could go 6-0, but I don't want to be greedy. Okay, 5 out of 6. Remember, I told y'all that. Stacey said this. 5 out of 6. We're gonna start off hot, baby. Sriracha. Get the hot sauce, and you can get that at GimmeTheHotSauce.com, America. Get your bottle today.
There.
And remember,
she'll
like it too.
Oh my God.
We only need one more phrase, Stacey, and we can say goodbye.
Woo! Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep. Woo! There's a party here at the Sriracha Studios. Let me get some more bourbon. You don't want to know what's in this bottle.